Good morning, everybody. It's the 13th of October. We're Signal Centre talking ball bright and early this morning. How you doing, Steve?
Very well, mate. A bit tired, obviously, because you got me out of bed early to do this,
Yeah,
but
sorry
that's the way it
about
goes. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to shed a bit of light on the situation.
that. That made a world of difference.
Hey, see?
Yeah,
It's great, isn't it?
lovely.
Ah, that
Thanks,
feels better.
Steve. Okay, let's get stuck in then. So we've got meetings today in London. So headlines today. The recovery from the Covid-19 pandemic is losing steam and becoming increasingly divided, the International Monetary Fund have warned. It's now expected global growth of 5.9% this year, which is down at 0.1 percentage point in July. So hardly a massive concern or a massive slowing. But the recovery is hampered by supply chain disruptions, which have become so acute that an upcoming meeting of G7 finance ministers in Washington will call for collaboration. The US has submitted a new proposal to the EU to solve the dispute on steel tariffs, so more going on there. The chip shortage is still front and center, and certainly the case when it comes to Apple, because they've cut production of their iPhone 13 by as many as 10 million units this year. Despite their deep pockets, the tech giant is still set to face supply disruptions and missed production targets of 90 million new iPhone models in the last quarter. So big numbers there. And obviously will have a huge impact on the shares, I would have thought. I haven't actually looked yet, but we'll have a look in a minute. So we've got some data out today. We've got US CPI, so the latest look at inflation. We've also got some earnings due out as well. JP Morgan kicks things off for the big banks today. We've also got US Delta Airlines giving us an insight into the airline industry following the recovery from the pandemic. We've also, in other news, got Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin scheduled to launch its second human into space, who is none other than William Shatner, aka Captain Kirk, will be on board.
Fantastic, mate. That's the last
Yeah,
time we'll see him. He'll go off into find the final frontier, I think, won't he?
yeah, quite possibly, yeah. Right, so Steve, let's get stuck into some charts, shall we?
Yeah. Okay. Let's drill down into oil. Oil's been a bit choppy. The markets are still concerned over the potential supply shortages, amid the OPEC restraint. There's also important net concerns that the surge in energy prices would continue to damage the global economy. Because you see, you said about 5% growth year on year. Obviously, compared to last year, that's maybe not a lot. That's what I'm thinking. And I can't see where the growth is going to come from. We sort of hit rock bottom last year, it felt like. So any sort of growth is still not a lot. That's my take on it anyway. Quick look at the weekly chart. We're still in this impulsive move higher in the fifth and final leg. Where's it going to stop? We've got a 78.6 fib retracement coming in at about $88. So no real guidance here. It's we're rejecting on the weekly chart. We're rejecting the highs we've hit this week of 81.25. Brent crude oil though does have a little bit of a target closer by 86.62, but again we stalled around 84.11 and retracing from there. So on a daily chart, I expect to see a little bit of topping candles. Here we go, shooting star, bearish inside day, hanging man. They're not looking great. Obviously, the momentum is stalling with the posting. And again, if we go back to the daily chart, we can see the MACD slowing down. We're overbought as well. So some form of correction should occur. Obviously, Wednesday, we do get oil inventories out later. That should add a little bit of spice to it. We'll wait and see for that. Gold, we've talked about. Long-term chart, we believe we're in a bullish flag, or I do. And 1676 on the downside should provide support. A break of there should open up an extended move to the downside, but we'll still be in this bullish flag, in my opinion, until we break down below this this downward trending support line. On the daily chart, really not a lot to talk about. It's choppy sideways price action with this Ichimoku cloud offering resistance before we see the real resistance coming in between 1834, interim resistance at 1790 on the way to that. Support in the form of 1722 before we hit that 1677 level. So just trading within that range at the moment. On the 4-hour chart, it's sort of flatlining, but we are above the Ichimoku cloud, so that's a positive. And also the lagging line is above the cloud as well, so that's confirmation of this bullish uptick, but there's no real momentum in it, so could easily flip back on it. Let's take a look at cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin stalling slightly. We talked about this on the video yesterday. There's some bearish divergence going on. Price action has moved higher over the last sort of like 4 or 5 days, while momentum is dying. So potential for a little bit of a correction, not a reversal at the moment. Prices have stalled just in front of the $58,000 level. We had this spike lower down to 51,000, but it bounced quite quickly from there. So support for me is coming in around about this previous swing high, 53,000. Ethereum stalling, but within the cloud support, so really needs, if it breaks 3372, then there'll be a little bit more pressure. It'll break out the cloud, and the 2800 to 2900 offers as a support. Resistance above at 3677. Ripple, similar sort of situation to Ethereum, 106.50 support, but the cloud could easily break there, and then we could be heading down to the 90, sort of 86 to 95 areas, the good decent support. 123 we've rejected. There was resistance at 124.40 above that, but again, just a bit choppy. Cardano didn't quite get up to the 245 area of resistance, which I think is pivotal, and it has retraced and looks a little bit like it could extend further to the downside. We've got support coming in at 202 and 207. Below there, we should find 191, 187 support, and really has to get above the 236 to 245 to really open up the upside, but doesn't look great at the moment for cryptos, just stalling. On the indices front, we can look at FTSE. That wasn't my trade idea, I don't think. FTSE on the has stalled again. We've got the dollar obviously impacting on the FTSE, a little bit dollar strength coming in, which is assisting, but then it sort of like gets there's like a tug of war going on between the other indices as well, that we drag it down. 71.60 is the resistance level, above 71.47, so a nice little band there of resistance. Rejecting on the 4-hour candle at the moment, hanging man, and quite a decent looking bearish candle also impacting on the markets now. DAX, I'm still slightly bearish towards DAX. The Ichimoku cloud resistance on the 4-hour chart still sort of prevalent. And above there, we've got 15,272. A break of there would open up the upside. Could be an inverse head and shoulders formation, but I won't start shouting about that until we do break that 15,275, say we call it, break back above the cloud. Otherwise, it looks like we could be in for an extended correction lower, but every time I say that, it bounces. But yeah, under a little bit of pressure here, 15,145. The Dow under pressure. It feels like the US indices were pressured, have been pressured a little bit more. For me, DAX seems to be holding quite nicely compared to the US counterparts. We saw prices get up to 34,600, and the low was 34,250 yesterday. So really, a break of either of those levels should lead to a bit of an extension. On the downside, that'll open up maybe more of a move down towards the 33,800 level. On the NASDAQ, feels like the tech is under a little bit of pressure. We've got the earnings season coming up as well. As Joe was mentioning about Apple, not really a lot to shout about there. 14,600 is support, nice round psychological number, break of there, and we'll see 14,450. On the upside, really has to capture ground above 15,000. Again, another psychological level, but I can't see that happening anytime soon. Bearish momentum is stalling ever so slightly, so really key day today and tomorrow. S&Ps, we've rejected 44.30 and extended lower. Had another attempt start early yesterday, well around 2 o'clock, and that stalled as well. So 44.17 acts as resistance, even close to that 43.75, and below, really looking for a break of 43.27 to open up maybe a retest of this triple bottom type formation we can see here. So that'll be nice to see how that plays out. Aussie 200, similar sort of thing. Under pressure, resistance coming in at 73.25, 72.37 is support with the cloud, and also that opens up, breaker there opens up extended move to downside 71.34. China has, oh, maybe that was my trade idea, probably was. Doesn't look like it
You
it
hang
did
on.
anything.
Yeah,
I hung on in there.
you got
Uh,
a tiny win on it, I think.
oh, really? Nice one.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I sound so surprised? But it has sort of retested this level, so not a bad time to go again. We've got this potential for a double top if we do get a break of 15,750. Still a bit early to play that out. You should really only think about that when it does break the neckline instead of preempting it. But it looks like decent rejection on that. On the hourly chart, it's only just rejected it. So, and it's at the top of the ATR. You like sort of fading into them sort of levels, don't you,
I
Joe?
do, yeah.
Hopefully, I'll get the go first. On the Hang Seng, on the daily chart, be aware of this shooting star candle from yesterday and negative price action at the moment. I really like that as well. Maybe the Asian Pacific indices are due a little bit of a storm by the looks of things. And again, bearish inside day on Nikkei, although the bearish momentum has slowed and we have seen this uptick. It's the reaction high has been capped by the cloud and lateral resistance as well. So stalled around about the 28,786 and sort of bearish, close to a bearish engulfing yesterday. So feels like we could be under a bit of pressure. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. I
Okay.
think that's me.
Cool. Lovely. Thanks, Steve. Okay, so FX. Dollar index still trading in this channel. Yesterday it closed above the 38.2% fib level I've got on the chart at 94.47, but it's back below it today, so it's not been able to hang on to those gains. Above that, we've got a resistance at 94.74 that needs to be taken out. I wouldn't be surprised to see it move sideways really over the next few sessions down towards this sort of support level here, test it around here, and then maybe go again. Overall, still looks pretty bullish for me, and I'm thinking higher prices will be seen, and that means obviously we'll be looking for lower prices on Euro USD. This head and shoulders top pattern still largest looms large, in fact.
I like largest
Hey,
loom.
large is loom. Looms large over the price action in the chart on this. So I'm thinking lower prices at least down to this 50% fib level at 114.92, then an extension of that down to the 61.8 at 112.90. On cable, let's have a quick look at that. Not really a lot going on. It's stalled into this resistance zone that we've got on the chart between sort of 135.70 to 136.58. A number of sort of consolidation candles, quite an aggressive reversal candle there on the 11th, and that was backed up yesterday by another failure to make any higher prices. So still fancy lower prices with that. Looking at Aussie yen, that's had a fantastic breakout higher above this cluster of resistance levels, and now expecting at some point to see a retest of that before higher prices are seen. Aussie dollar has rallied into this downtrend resistance line that I've got on the chart, posting yesterday a bit of a shooting star candle in the process as well. So maybe a chance to fade into these into this rally that we've seen over the last few sessions or so, potentially on this. There has been some really dramatic moves in Aussie Euro Oz, in fact, broken down through support, and obviously a number of red candles there have been seen in recent sessions, completing a nice head and shoulders top pattern in the process. Euro CAD, really ugly. Steve, you won't like this one because there's I think 12 red candles in a row on this, which I know you believe is impossible. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with this one, but big breakthrough support, number of red candles, only that one really offering any respite. from this high up here. So really looking very weak for the euro against the Canadian dollar at the moment.
Nice.
Euro yen, what's going on there? Decent breakout of this range. Um, held above it yesterday, looking for maybe a bit of a pullback to test this to see if there is some support at 130.55 before a continuation higher. So there's a few interesting bits in FX, but also there's a lot of sideways stuff as well. So pick your markets carefully. At the moment though, it still looks like yen is very weak, and we're seeing that across the board. This is dollar yen just to finish up on. Really big move to the upside, which hasn't been a load of dollar strength, so it has really been more led by yen weakness.
Nice.
Okay, gun to the head trades from yesterday. As I mentioned, Steve, you made a small win, or had a small win on China 50, 20 ticks, 0.06R. They all count. And I was stopped out on cable for a 1R loss. So a couple of stinkers for me in a row, but I can get back on the horse today, I reckon.
Yeah.
Steve, you had one lined up. What you got?
Yeah, I had a few lined up, didn't I? Let's go with China, I think. China. Yeah, we've seen this sort of like potential for a double top, and we've just stalled around about this 61.85 level. I'm going to stick with it. I think we've overnight we've sold this as well. Mona's, funny enough, she's sort of bought the dip in Nikkei, and that's on side, and she's sold the rally in this, and that's just come back on site. So I like her style. She's got it
She
really
knows what she's
wrapped
doing,
up.
doesn't she?
She does. So getting short here, 16.068, and 16.208, and that'll give us, what's that? Is that 4? Oh, no. Have I worked it out wrong? I have.
Go with that.
There, 3-1. I like
Nice.
3-1. Yeah, looking for a move back down there. So stop is just above the high, quite tight. Not ideal, but I've got a gun to my head. So what am I supposed to do? Target of 15.648, getting short here at 16.068.
Lovely. I'm going to take a look at sterling versus New Zealand dollar. It's been trading. This is a daily chart in a nice bullish channel. We broke down. We've seen a bit of a retest of the underside of this horizontal support. We posted a bearish engulfing a couple of days ago. Looking at the hourly chart, it's just closed down, or looking set to close down below its 10-period moving average in the very short term on the hourly chart. So for me, that could be a cue to sell. Believing that the momentum will start heading lower again. So I'm going to jump on that, selling it at 195.99, stop loss at 196.41. And where we going to target? Well, I've got a black line drawn in already down there, so that is.
Yeah, that looks ominous. That looks
That's
like
obviously a level. So let's go with that. 193.74, 5.5R.
Oh, I'd love that to come up, Joe.
Yeah, that'd be good,
great,
wouldn't it?
wouldn't it?
Right, that's trade of the day for me. So as mentioned, CPI is kind of front and center today in the US. Not sure what else we've got. Let's have a
FOMC
quick
minutes,
look. Have we got that today?
7
Oh,
p.m.
bloody yeah, we have, yeah. FOMC
Jesus.
minutes. How did I miss that?
Lucky I'm here, eh?
It's
Everyone's
bloody
going,
lucky you're
how
here.
Steve spotted that? It's only just an email's just popped into my box just now.
Okay.
Yeah,
We've got some
from
Eurozone
IT.
industrial production numbers at 10 as well. We've had quite a bit of GBP and German data out already. So yeah, CPI later today, and then big numbers from the FOMC, or minutes from the FOMC at 7. So keep your eyes peeled and be alert for what is happening in the market at those times.
Lovely.
Right, cool. Let's wrap it up there, Steve. I will see
Cheers,
you in
Joe.
a bit. Have a good day,
All right,
everyone.
good mate.
Bye.
Bye.